Joining us right now, Professor William Jacobson of legalinsurrection.com. You don't look like a legal insurrector necessarily.
Well, I started as an insurrector, and then I wanted to stay out of trouble, so I gave it illegal.
Probably a good idea. Well, let's talk about this Iran deal that looks like the President and the Secretary of State are dead set on marching the U.S. toward this Sunday. What about the legitimacy of this deal? We've got the letter from the senators, and they've already put Iran on notice. But the president has now suggested, as we just heard, that there's going to be some sort of direct action with the United Nations. What is that?
That's right. If it's a treaty, if it's something that obligates the United States, commits the United States to something, it has to be by treaty. And treaties have to be approved by the Senate, by a supermajority of the Senate. You think of the Russian arms control treaty that was negotiated a couple of years ago. That has to go there. President
and
Obama,
all of Reagan's, all the SALT 1, SALT 2, and all of those things. I remember the Senate had a say in them.
Exactly. The problem that President Obama has is the deal, at least as it's been disclosed, and we don't know all the details, is not going to be acceptable to the Senate. And he's not going to get it through the Senate. By all accounts, it is a deal that allows Iran to maintain its nuclear weapons facilities, but maybe take them down a notch, keep them always a year away from the so-called breakout when they can go nuclear.
Provided we assume they're being truthful. I mean, the whole trust and verify thing is kind of out of the window, right?
And it didn't work very well with North Korea.
Right.
And so he's not going to get it through the Senate. So he's making essentially an end run around the Senate. He's going to go to the UN Security Council. He's going to get them to pass a binding resolution. It will now have the binding effect of a UN Security Council resolution.
What is that binding effect?
Well, the binding is
it's
binding on all the members. If the UN Security Council passes a binding, and they have different methods that they do it, it would be binding on us as a member. So he will have essentially circumvented the Senate by superimposing the Security Council on an agreement. And then you get a sticky situation.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Yeah, I don't think people realize this. And so the U.S. has this veto power in the Security Council of the UN, and I'm assuming that this was always, obviously it was to keep other countries in check and to keep U.S. prominence when the UN Charter was first created, but also the fact that a international agreement from the United Nations Security Council would be binding on U.S. law, I'm assuming, was set up in such a way that no one ever imagined that a president would go around the backs of the Congress, thereby the American people, and agree to something that the people didn't want. I mean, I can't. You do a lot of research on these things. Has this ever happened?
A very sticky situation, which is it is not technically binding on the U.S. because it hasn't been approved as a treaty, but as an international matter, it's deemed binding. And so you'd get into this very strange situation that all the other countries in the world would treat it as binding. All the other countries that we would need to help impose sanctions on Iran would treat it as binding. It wouldn't technically be binding on us, but it would be kind of de facto binding on us. And that's really the issue. He's going to make an end run around the Senate and accomplish what he wants, in fact, in the world, because France will stop sanctioning Iran. Britain will stop.
Oh, they're just looking for an excuse.
They're just looking for an excuse.
Yeah.
So the rest of the Iran will be opened up to trade with the rest of the world. Technically speaking, they won't be opened up for us, but we don't do much with them anyway. So he will accomplish what he wants without having gone through the route that he's supposed to.
Is there anything the Senate can do? Can they recall the ambassador to the UN? Can they? I mean, the Senate does have certain powers, no, in terms of international.
Senate cannot recall, to my knowledge, the ambassador. Once approved, and the ambassador's been approved, you can't. I don't think the Senate has the power to recall somebody. Wow. Not 100% sure about that. But Senate has threatened to cut our funding contribution for the UN.
I saw that. I think it might have been Senator Tom Cotton that proposed that, or maybe
John
Cruz.
McCain and a couple of others.
I saw now it makes sense, and they're doing that based on the idea that the UN is going to. Wow, and in your memory, has this happened before? I mean, usually with foreign issues like this, there's a little bit of cooperation here between this end of Pennsylvania Avenue and the other.
That's right, but there's so little faith in what the Obama administration is doing internationally now, and they seem so desperate for an agreement. Even the Iranians publicly have mocked how desperate we are for an agreement.
We saw that.
It's embarrassing. This is the same Iranian leader who chants a weekend ago, literally last Sunday, death to America.
Right.
And this is a guy we're going to trust to live up to the agreement.
And everyone, of course, everyone listening right now, they know their Constitution and they know, what the Senate's role is. And there are a lot of Democrats who are against this Iran deal, even if they have, 70 Democrats in the Senate joining, or excuse me, 70 total senators, including, what would that be, 26 Democrats saying, no, don't do this. They still can't stop this action with the UN.
Well, there's nothing they can physically do to stop it. They can take action such as cutting our contribution, which I think is about a quarter of the UN budget. They could pass resolutions denouncing it, saying we don't recognize it. But at the end of the day, Barack Obama will have achieved what he wanted.
Wow. All right. Well, and so we're expecting this announcement on Sunday, Palm Sunday, ironically, that this deal will be announced, which is a whole other insult. Let me ask you, before I leave you, there's a man who would love to sit in that Oval Office in 2017 in January, and it's Senator Ted Cruz, and he's already said that he would, reverse whatever this Iran deal is. Hopefully they won't have a bomb by then. And every time I mention Senator Ted Cruz in the presidency, I reliably will get emails or phone calls from people who say, well, he's not eligible to be president because he was born in Canada. You've written about this extensively. Yes. Please, would you settle this for me, please,
sure.
So those people will stop calling me?
Sure. There is no requirement in the Constitution that somebody be born within the territory of the United States.
Oh, but you're wrong, sir. Natural-born citizenship. And also his dad, when he was born, was not a citizen.
It doesn't matter. Natural-born citizen, all that's required is that the person become a citizen by birth, but not by naturalization. There is nothing in the Constitutional Convention, nothing in the writings of the framers of the Constitution, no contemporaneous notes or evidence that they meant anything else than that. You hear a lot of theories, and whenever I write about this, and I've written extensively about it, I've researched it, whenever you write about this, people come up with all sorts of theories. I've tracked down every single one of them. They'll say, well, what about so-and-so said such and such? And
you wrote like 10,000 pages on that. Where can people find
10,000 words.
Oh,
10,000
sorry.
pages.
Yeah, 10,000 pages would be crazy. Well, for the way I write, each word is a page.
Sure.
Where can we find that?
Sure. Just Google legal insurrection, natural-born citizen.
Got it.
And you will find it. I track down every one of these theories, and they're like many conspiracy theories. They have a kernel of truth in them, but no more.
Can we just blow everyone's mind right now and let them know that even if Barack Obama had been born in Kenya, he still would have been eligible for the presidency, right?
That's right. It's completely irrelevant. So we went through years and years of this public fight over where he was born, and it has no bearing on whether he was eligible because his mother was a citizen. By U.S. law, he became a citizen at birth, regardless of where he was born.
It's legalinsurrection.com. He's Professor William Jacobson. Great to always have you in town, sir. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much. Take care.